crazy until, and now I know what I'm doing. I don't have it.
Yeah.
Because I'm too busy staying afloat. When I get a job, that's what I'm working towards again,
What, building your account on
Yeah, getting that unlimited day trading again.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. And when it's not unlimited and you get into a position and you don't have any more day trades and you're trying to get out, that could be.
Yes, and that's how I get caught. Yes.
Hey, Rose, I
Hi,
can send you
Londa.
$50,000.
I'm
Hey, I can
sorry.
send you $50,000. I can send you $50,000 in paper trade.
Londa, I would appreciate that. We could split 50-50 in a perfect world.
Paper trade money. Paper trade.
In a perfect world, Londell. But you watch, I'll get it.
When was this? When were you throwing? What year was this that you were throwing all of that money away?
Oh, that was just before you came in. That was just before you came in. So like for 2 years, you would not believe the amount of money that I lost to the stock market. You wouldn't believe. So I would not even want to tell anybody.
I know that feeling.
That was crazy.
The fact that you're still in the game means that, it was an expensive lesson learned.
Yes, Londell, and I mean to make it back. That's why I'm still in the game, because I can't let them get the better of me like that. I have to make that money back.
I could tell you which year it probably was. It's probably 2021, leading up to February 2021, when
it was actually even before that.
Even before that?
Yeah,
2021.
Was it during the pandemic?
Yeah, before I've actually been in the stock market since like 2018 or 2017, one of them.
Oh, you've been in there for a while. What were you doing all those years?
I traded everything with stocks and option. Oh my God. It's like crypto.
Oh yeah, you was going everywhere because I didn't come around until what, 2021?
Oh yeah. Oh really? And for me, it was exciting. You got that high. So it was more exciting to me than anything.
Right. It was more gambling.
And I listened to everybody who didn't know, or you didn't have a clue, but they talk like they did, So I took a lot of bad advice, lost a lot of money.
Yeah, well, now it's different. Now you can do it. You can trade by yourself now. You can
Exactly.
you can choose the people that know what they're talking about. So, it makes it easier. So you're a little more experienced. And you're right. Londell is right. It's the goal is to not stop. It's to not stop, And if in order to be in this world, you have to take some losses.
Yes.
A lot of us have stories, trust me.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? And that's just it. Now, given the right conditions, I know what I'm doing. Now I know how to make money. I just need my capital back to start with. I already have my strategy down.
I wish I could turn back time and have done Desiree's class in 2019.
Yes. Where were you, Desiree? Exactly.
Yeah, 2019. That was before the fall in the pandemic too. And that was
that's when I lost the most money. Yeah.
Yeah, that's when we were on a good pace. But I mean, even after the pandemic, we still picked up.
Yes.
Yeah. So
but
trust me, guys, during that time in 2019, I was still in my learning curve too, like 2017, 2018, 2019. I was a very hardcore student, guys, a very hardcore student. Yeah.
But you're cautious. You're very cautious. I used to be so impulsive. That's the problem.
And that's what I love about this trade, because it forces you to master yourself, right? On so many levels, because the way you trade, you can see someone's personality based on their style of trading.
Yes.
Even with my students, I know my students because I know how when I know how they trade, and I know their strategy and I know where they need help in. I know their personality, because depending on the type of trader you are, that determines, you can see someone's personality based on that.
True. And honestly, you had a big effect on mine. It's like I learned how to be patient, because that's one virtue I never had: patience. I'm the most impatient person. So that's what killed my trades a lot of times. And I learned how to play the waiting game. I learned how to, be cautious.
Right. It's all about waiting, because
Yes.
even me, I was thinking about taking some positions and SPY on 431, but I knew that I needed to wait to see if it helped.
Yes.
But then I was seeing, and remember that it was Friday, I was like, oh man, we're at 431, but I see some selling pressure based on this last candle. So to me, that was automatic. Nope. Right. Because I need to see how this plays out. And what happened? We broke below that level yesterday, because the buyers, the sellers are still in control. So until we reverse, you can't really take a position. So the thing about trading is you have to wait for the trade to come to you.
Exactly.
Right?
And I didn't understand that until now. Yeah. And it always comes. And a lot of times I learned the hard way. A lot of times I grew impatient and just entered, and only to kick myself later, because the perfect setup always came way too late.
It comes literally an hour after I make a trade.
Yeah. Sometimes 15 minutes too.
Yes.
And that's the perks of day trading, right? Because everything is so fast, right? Everything is so fast and so volatile. So sometimes it looks like it's the perfect move, but then when you look back, you're like, damn, nope, that was the perfect move, right? Because of the volatility in day trading. So, and like I always recommend, for people who start out trading, to day trade, because day trade teaches you so much. But eventually at some point, you're going to want to, start pushing it out to where you're now swing trading, even if it's 2-3 days at a time. Because once you're able to identify your targets, then you can be more patient, right? You can be more patient with your trades, because you know that you have time. You know that your strategy is now 3 to 5 days versus 3 to 5 hours, because 3 to 5 hours is moving so fast, right? Patterns are constantly being created in those 3 to 5 hours. So it's also moving the mind too. But when you go out a little further, say now my strategy is a 3-day strategy, right? You are already so conditioned to the patterns and the way that the candlestick moves, because you have so much experience observing in the day trading world, that once you go to your 3 to 5 day, say your 3 to 5 day strategy, it does become easier, because now all you're doing is you're watching how the day went, and depending on how the opening close of that day, it helps you determine whether you're still on the right track or not, right?
Right.
So
exactly.
But that's that's in time, and that's something that you could think about for in the future, because I think you have so much potential within. And I do want to. You're welcome. And I am creating my courses for swing trading, right? And the course comes out for swing trading. I'm only allowing the ones that have taken the initial course for the foundational to join in on the swing trading course. So that way you can kind of condition your mind a little bit to spread it out, because once you spread it out, it becomes easier, right? So, but yeah.
That's so true.
But don't get me wrong, I still love day trading. That word, I still go back to day trading, when I have my moments, because I just love it. But it is very, very volatile.
Yeah. And but something that I try to practice, especially when I have enough funds. Even if I intend to day trade a stock, I still try to take it out to 4 weeks, just in case.
Right.
But that's so I was just thinking about that, right? Because sometimes I turn a swing trade strategy into a day trade, and I don't think that's right? Besides, I think I need to separate and mark this is a day trade and this is a swing trade, and treat them two differently.
Really? No, to me, it's like I treat all my day trades as potential swing trades, just in case it goes south. But It's like out and in. I think it's the exit that really makes the difference for me.
Well, that's why you should have your automatic sell limits. Do you put
Yeah.
automatic sell limits on your exits?
Yes, I guess.
That's the most important thing. So for like your exits, automatic sell limits help you because it kind of forces, it does it automatically so that you don't have to mentally do it, because sometimes when you're in the moment, you get that fear of missing out, right?
Yes.
And then you
Yes.
get that greed, that's like that emotion
Yes.
that rises
Yes,
up
every
inside of
time.
you. So when you put that automatic sell limit up there, it will do it itself. So that
And-
way you don't have to decide.
And
Yeah.
going forward, that's what I said. When I build my capital, that's exactly what I'm gonna do.
Automatic
Yeah.
sell limit.
So
Yeah.
let me let you know one something that really burnt me. But I only had, it was a very small trade. It was like under $30. But
Uh-huh.
it was like if this was a big like trade, I would have been so upset, right? So I did a automatic sell by price using market as the target, right? So it sells based on the market price.
Right.
Once I had a put. No, sorry, I had a call, and it was going up. I mean, it was like you could see the bullish. I think it was FSLR. You could see the bullish trend and everything. And I did a call at a sell limit, and it hit that sell limit, but I set the sell price at market. I didn't realize the spread was between
Why?
one. Yeah, it was between like $1 and like $1 and $72, and you know it sold at
Ouch.
$1.
Ah, that's crazy.
It's
And
sold
like
for
the
$1.
it sold at $1 because I set it at the market versus a limit. And for some reason, the market was like $1, but the spread was $1 to $72. Like, why?
Oh,
Yeah, because the spread
no.
was too wide. Yeah. But that was an experience, and I'm glad it was only $30.
Exactly.
I was so happy it was only $30. But I was like, where did everything go from like $30 to $1?
Yeah, but that's crazy. But it went in the direction that you wanted. And that's the thing, like those spreads, you got to really get those spreads down, because even if it goes in your direction, if the spread is too wide, it can still put you in a negative. And if you don't understand what's happening, it's like, what in the world?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for saying that. Well, I never do market limits, and I mean market order anyway. I always do limits, always. I don't trust them that
Limit gets
much.
you in the best, it'll get the best fill. But even when the spread is really wide, even with the limit, you could still get hit if it's too wide. So and that was a pretty wide spread that he mentioned. So even
Yeah.
at a limit, you could have still potentially been in the negative, like selling out, just because it's that was a gap. You said it was $72. It was $72.
Yeah, it was just a crazy one. I didn't look at the spread. It was
Yeah.
just crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Wow.
So we normally for the spreads, for the bid and ask, you probably want it maybe between 10 and 20 cents. So yeah, that makes sense.
Oh,
All right,
yeah.
guys. Well, good stuff. I'm about to share.
Okay.
About to share screen.
Oh, I was wondering about that. That's what I was
All right, hold on one second here. All right, you guys can see.
Yes.
All right, perfect. All right, guys. So we're going to start with yesterday's candle. And, like I drew these zones this morning here because, support and resistance recalculates as the market moves. So initially, this was our support. We had resistance up here somewhere, but you can see we're downtrending, right? So now I had to recalculate my zones here. So these are the 3 zones that I have for the day. So this was Friday's candle. I think, it was Friday's candle. So even though we were still at support on Friday, if you go back to my post in the group, I talked about this candle here.
Yeah.
So this is why I wasn't so confident that they wanted to hold. I knew I had to be in more observation energy because of this wick here. So what this is telling me, even though we opened up here at support and we pulled it all the way up, just because the sellers was able to bring it down this much, I knew that there was still sellers over here in this area. So this is like kind of like a be cautious area, right? And then of course we opened up pre-market. We seen that there wasn't a lot of volume, and then we opened up here. And this is what I meant to, this is what I mean to Ruthann when I say always trust in your initial analysis, because we opened up below. We opened up below this support area, which was support at this time. This was an indication that the bears are taking over control. So the fact that we opened up here, right here, we opened up below this support level, that was your indication. So even though they came up, this is the scare, and this is the stuff with SPY. SPY can get you, right? Because when you're actually in the market and you see this rise here above this level, it can get scary, right?
Yes.
But they ended up pulling it back down because the most important thing was that they opened up below this level. So the fact that they opened up below this level, that was your sign right there. That's the strongest sign, okay? And then you can see we closed below it, and we're here now. Pre-market, we're very bearish, and I'm going to go over, I mean, I'm seeing some bearish patterns.
Okay. What are we?
Over that more thoroughly. But the fact that we broke below the support level, and we have, and now look, we have this wick, because what happened was we opened up here, the bulls tried to come back in and bring it up. Sellers said, nope, came back down, closed below the level. So now we know who's in control, guys. The sellers are in control right now, right? You look at the candles like you look at people. It's just people. You know, this is what it is. It's buyers and sellers fighting for control. And that's kind of how I see it. And yesterday, the sellers took control. So now we're here, right? So this is the first step for me. So 429.8 is the first step. And then the second step would be 426.09. To me, 426.09 is more, is stronger, right? Depending on how strong SPY is, they could stop here in the reverse, or we could just take it all the way back down to the next level. And that's 426.09. This is the more stronger support level down here. And even on the 4-hour, you can even see it's where the 200 MA says. And the 200 MA can act as support and resistance, and here it's acting as a move support.
The 426.09 is the 200 MA.
Yeah, hold on. Let me make sure, because I just kind of like called out a number. Let's do 426.4.
426.4.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, but you're gonna be watching to see a 429.65 hold here.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be the first stair step, and then this is the next one. Now, guys, do you guys know what 431 is? 431 is now the new resistance. Okay, it is no longer support. Once it falls through the floor, it becomes resistance. We don't change the price. It's like the support and resistance just recalculates, recycles, whatever you want to call it. Because the way we find our initial levels is from previous history. It was like support, then it became resistance. Then it was support, then it became resistance, right? So now, instead of, we don't change the price, we just know that once it fell through the floor, now it becomes resistance. Okay.
So it's at 431.74 now. What's the number? Is it a little above the resistance?
No, we're at 431. Well, resistance is, I have here. Hold on, let me go back to the daily chart. I erased all my stuff here to recalculate everything. So let's see what is.
It's showing 432.
Yeah, 432 might be stronger because look, I'm looking at all of this here, all of this previous calculation here.
So it fell beneath the 432. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh, because I had it down here.
Yes, but as it moved, I guess it changed.
Yeah, because we had so much movement up here.
Yep.
because I did these ones this morning because I was using all of this movement over here that was happening yesterday.
Yeah, because SPY did move around a lot for Monday. Normally, it consolidates a lot. Yesterday, it kind of moved pretty much.
Even this is the weekly here, guys. You can even see it. You see how we opened up
Yes.
here Monday, which was below this one, and it's coming down here.
Yep.
So it's still showing that we're still pulling back. What is this here? This is 426.43.
Now,
Here.
I still expect a surge because of the strength. It might just do, like a little fake thing like it did yesterday.
I don't know because I'm seeing, I'm seeing more bearish momentum because look at this. You have this high, then it gets lower.
That's true.
And I don't really see we're below 50 right now. I don't really see any real patterns because normally with bullish momentum, with strength, you see some patterns forming. That's going to be an indication that there's going to be a run up. Even here, we're below the 200 MA. And the fact that how we closed yesterday, that's one sign. Looking at the week, because remember, you're looking at different signs, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing about multi-time frame analysis. Multi-time frame analysis, you're not going to find the same thing on every single time frame, right? But what you are going to do is you're going to look at indications on every time frame, right? So it's kind of like a counting system. So you could say, oh shit, I see 5 bearish signs compared to 2 bullish signs. So if I see 5 bearish signs on 5 different time frames and I see 2 bullish signs on all 5 of those different time frames, where am I going to go? I'm going to go with the higher number. So I'm going to say, okay, so everything looks more bearish because of the signs, right? So let's take a look at this. So even though monthly, I
was wondering if there's a downward trend line on the 4-hour or one of those lower time frames.
What you mean, like this way?
Yeah. Do you see any downward trend? Trend?
Currently, currently, like because we're looking at the most current price action, which this is the most current price action right here. So you have like this downtrend here. Then of course you come up a little bit because you have to come up in order to keep coming down. So the only thing I'm seeing right now is lower lows. I don't see any reversal yet. Because remember, once you have a downtrend, like you see how the doji was created right here at support and then it went up. I mean, technically this was a reversal, but it didn't hit too far because it only got up to the top of this resistance before it pulled back down. So here in this area, we do have some consolidation for like the last 24 hours, but I would want to see a reversal. So remember, a reversal can be like a doji, like a hammer, an ignition candle, like a really big green candle. That's an ignition candle. So any type of reversal, and I don't see anything here. And remember, your reversal candlesticks are only significant if it's at support or resistance, right? So technically, if I still see this as resistance because of the movement pre-market, right? Unless we can get back above this level, then it'll become support again. But until then, we're still a little bit below it. So if it falls through and goes to the next level, then we definitely have confirmation that this is resistance. But if we can get a reversal, if at open today, if we can get some strength and get a reversal candlestick here, then you might see a change of direction. But until we get confirmation, we're still heading down because there's no confirmation at this point that we have a reversal because nothing has been created to show us yet, right? We have to, it has to show us what it wants to do. And right now we don't see anything that's telling us that it's time, that it's going to reverse back, right? Even here on the weekly, and this is what I was going to say, when you're looking, okay, so on the monthly, we already know we got bullish momentum here, right? We know that the last few months we've been going, we broke out of this level. We're still in this month of June. It's June 27th. We got this little wick here, but we haven't even completed this month yet. So this candle's not even completed, but we know that it broke out. So this is bullish, right? You go back to your weekly chart, and this is just looking at it from a higher perspective, right? So now we're looking at only current price action, guys. Yes, all of this is beautiful. Yes, this breakout's beautiful, blah, blah, blah. but we're talking about current price action. What is happening right now, currently in the moment, okay? So we have this high here a couple weeks ago. We had this was the breakout, right? We had this breakout. You could see this was in the beginning of June, because June we opened up above the level. We had a strong move up. But what's happened the last 2 weeks? This was last week, right? So we hit this high. We opened up here, right? And then we brought it down. And then what happened on Monday? We opened up lower than the previous week. So of course we haven't completed this candle yet, right? It still has to complete its pattern. But just based on what I'm seeing here, it's still opened up lower. It's still opened up lower. It's heading down. And until this candle completes on Friday, you could really see more, right? But the way that it's going now, it looks like it's heading down. Does that make sense? So
yes,
this is higher, this is lower, right? And you can see it's just a small, even if it, and this is what I mean, guys, like, when I say that, like, even if we pull back, it's healthy, right? It's healthy because we need to pull back in order to keep going. Stocks can't keep running if they don't pull back, because that's like you not putting gas in your car and then the shit, or not getting oil changes and your freaking engine blows, right? You can't do that. You have to take a break. So even if we pull back, you can see that even at this 426, we're still healthy. Look at all this movement that we had prior, right? So you can see our support, which we talk about this like 417 area, right? Like even here at the sports, because this is where we opened up on the higher time frames. This is, we opened up because this was resistant on the monthly for the last 11 months. And then we finally opened up above this resistance. So staying above this level is healthy, right? It's very healthy. So even if we come back and pull to 426, that's actually good, because we want to have this pullback. Because the more we can pull back, then that means that the more we can create to keep going. And I'll show you what I mean by that in here in just a second. So right now we're about, okay, so right here, we're here, right? We're around this area, which is about 431, 432-ish, okay? Let's take a look at these time frames. Let's look at this. Look, this is the 4 hour. So this is the 4 hour coming into oversold. So the 4 hour coming into oversold at a significant support. This means that we're going to be, if we can get here to 426, we're going to be so freaking far below. We're going to be around like 7, 8, 9, 10, somewhere around there. But what does that do? It gives us enough momentum to drive, because we want to drive back up, right? Yeah. We want to drive back up. So if we can hit it here, right, and we can be underneath this level here into an oversold position, we have enough gas now to go ahead and
go back up.
that shit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then same thing with here. We've been oversold and we've been below 50. But if we can take it back down all the way to support, what is that going to do? That's going to create us and go into an oversold position here, and hopefully create some patterns so that we can keep running. I like to see the 4 hour at oversold, because once the 4 hour is oversold, then generally there's some movement. So let's take a look and see what I mean here. So here we go from here to here, right? Yes. So that's from here. We create this W, right? Here, this is a W. Come down here. We created this W, which is the top. Then we came down, we created a higher low, and it gave us space to keep going, right? Yeah. And we had this nice trend up. And we kind of stayed above 50, and that's what we want to do in order to signal strength. We want to stay above 50, right? But if we can get it down here and then bring it back up to above 50 to keep going, then that's good signs that, we want to keep running. But that's what we like to see. We like to see these lower time frames create these patterns. So these pullbacks are actually healthy so that these lower time frames can go into oversold. So going into oversold at support would be your best bet. Now, this was the initial support, but you have to wait. You have to see if it's going to hold, right? There's no way I'm going to take position here. Absolutely not. No, not after how we closed yesterday and not how we opened up this week, right? So what I would say is let's wait till it gets to the next floor. Once it gets to the next floor, now we're very oversold, because guess what? We take advantage of the fear. Okay. So when we get low like this, this is when the fear kicks in, right? That's when you take position.
You're talking about calls, Desiree?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
okay.
capitalizing off of the fear because
So you wouldn't take a put no with the weakness at this point?
Oh yeah, but
yeah, you
Desiree
could.
don't like
I mean,
puts.
I rather be.
Okay,
Yeah, because
this
puts
is
move too fast. I mean, it's good for puts for your day trades and stuff like that. And I know people who do swing puts and stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, I love my puts.
Yeah, I'm more. I would rather take a call position at the low. Plus, we're strong in trend, so the trend is up right now. So
Yeah.
when you allow it to get to its lowest point, you are like following trend. Even during like when we were pulling back, you know, over here, this is a good time to take puts when we were pulling back. So let's look at what I mean about with that. So if the trend is pulling back right now, right?
Mhm.
So if you're pulling back and you're coming down, like even starting here at this, let's go back to the beginning when we started the pullback. Now these are good times when you can take puts, right? Because
Yes.
you're more in a dominant trend of down, right? So when you're holding out a couple days, you're more likely to get profits and puts than you are calls when we're in a more dominant downtrend. But right now we're kind of coming back up. So when you're coming back up in more of a dominant uptrend, you're going against the trend when you're taking puts, you know, for a couple days out, couple weeks out, you're going in the opposite. You're trading the opposite end of the trend. But if you're day but if you're day trading, it's different because you're looking at the candles. So if the candle today tells me it's more bearish, and then you're following the day trade with that, it's just that one candle you're looking at, right? You're not looking at, you know, 5 to 10 candles. You're only looking at one candle. So if that one candle is more dominant, that it's a downtrend, then of course it would be more logical to take a put position on a day trade. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. So here, okay, so we got the weekly. So we're talking about opening up here below, right? Possibly heading to support, a pullback, right? So that's one right there. Then you got the daily, you got this wick here that was created, which shows that sellers are here. Sellers are making sure you know they're here. They're loud and clear, right? Loud and clear. You got the wick here, you got the candle. You keep opening up lower. So they're giving you these signs right here. So that's two, right? That's two. Even look at where we closed yesterday. It appears we're heading here. That's two signs. Now let's go to the 4-hour chart. So the 4-hour chart here, we're low. We're below 50. We don't really have no real reversal yet. You know, we haven't been shown a reversal. So this is 3 until we can get a reversal here and I mean, we still have potential to reverse here because we haven't completely fell below this level yet.
Right.
But if today we close below this level again, then that's confirmation, but we're still stagnant. We're still sitting on this level here. And remember, before stock makes a move, they're going to consolidate. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 5. Actually, let's see. This is actually a lot of consolidation here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 candles that are consolidated, but this is all 4 hours. So remember, this is only a couple of days worth of consolidation. So we've been consolidating here for a couple of days. And remember, candles, they can consolidate anywhere between 8 to 11 candles, 8 to 13 candles. And depending on the time frame, it could be 8 to 13 months, it could be 8 to 13 days, it could be 8 to 13 weeks. It just depends on the view. You understand? So the view that we have right now is only on the 4-hour chart. So if we're looking at 8 to 13 candles, we're only looking at approximately 2 to 3 days. And that's multi-time frame analysis, is being able to see that and see different signs and understand that each candle represents different time frames. So you're not going to be looking at the 8, but it's all the same principle, right? The consolidation, 8 to 13 candles. It's the same principle. It's just different time frames. So you got to see it from for what it actually is. Is it 8 to 13 months? Is it 8 to 13 days? Or is it 8 to 13 hours, right? So we see some consolidation. So there hasn't been really confirmation for us yet, except that we have bearish momentum that on the weekly, We opened up, and that's all I'm looking at is signs. I'm not trying to, of course, I'm an analyst and I like to predict, but I'm not saying, oh, we're gonna just fall, you know what I mean? Or whatever. No, this is what it looks like. This is what it appears to be based on what I see. But until we get some type of, if we don't, this is the area you want to observe. Until we get some type of confirmation where we're heading back up, which is a reversal candle and some strength, and closing above this level. We got to close above this level. I don't like that we're closing below this level like we did yesterday. If we're gonna, if it's gonna switch, we need to close on the daily chart. We need to close above this level for us to see more confirmation that we want to hold it. If not, yeah, we're heading down. We're heading down because your open and closing, the open and closing of your candle is what that's what makes it significant, because what it does throughout the day is just volatility. It's going to go up, it's going to go down. You're going to, you're going to go up, you're going to go down. But how are we closing? How are we closing makes all the difference in the world, right? So let's go back to the 4 hour here. Okay. So we don't really have no strong confirmation yet because we're still consolidating here in this area. We closed up below yesterday. We have like all of these signs that it's potential, that it potentially wants to head down, and sellers are loud and clear. We're here, right? So that's the one. And then, okay, so now let's go to the hour. So what do I see on the hour? I do see that we're below the 200 MA here. We have a low. I mean, this is kind of higher, but this is still all white noise. I mean, technically this was the support. We're down below the support. We're still here. We don't really have, this is white noise. Yes, you do see a little momentum coming up, but remember, you're looking at the 1 hour chart. So how strong is the 1 hour compared to the daily, the weekly, and the 4 hour? As you get lower into the time frames, those time frames become, I don't want to say it becomes weaker, but it becomes like you gotta be able to distinguish the white noise. Okay, so if I see something on the 4 hour, the 4 hour is going to take precedence over the 1 hour, because the 4 hour it's a higher time frame, so it's a little more solid than the 1 hour. So you got to be able to see through the white noise. Okay, so yes, I do see a nice little candle coming here forming, but can we open up above this level? It's still 930. Can we open up above this level? Can we get up now? Once we open up above the level, can we push back above this 200 MA? Because the 200 MA is now resistance, right? It's now resistance. So getting back above this 434 would be important. And we know the strongest resistance here is 436, because 436 is what we've been trying to break, last week and this week in order to keep going. But 436 just kept rejecting. And you can see here, it rejected. We were above it, right? Where it was sitting as support. We were consolidating all this time. We finally broke above it. We got our little hit, and this was in the beginning of June when we opened up above that level in the monthly time frame of 418. And you hear me calling out different prices, but I understand that the prices and the strong points, it depends on the time frames, and it's being able to take all of that information and like see the big picture. Because a lot of people will take all that information and get confused. Well, what about 418? Why is 436 so significant? But you keep talking about 418 and then 426. It's all different, like different time frames, different areas, depending on where we're at currently, depending on where we've been at and where we need to go in order to continue this and what we need to hold. So it's a lot of different layers, right? So anyway. So this 436 here, we're consolidating. We finally break above 436. We're like, ooh, right? But then we come back. Now 436 is new support. Okay. We come back down. We pull back. 436 is new support. We lose 436. Since we lost 436, we could not get it back. We have not gotten 436 back since we lost it. Right? You can even see rejection. And we haven't even got close to it. We actually went lower, right? We went lower, and now we're above. Now we can't even freaking get 434 back. So now at this point, we're like, shit, can we even get 434 back? Right? Because even if we do have some strength here, we need to have a lot of strength, because we need to get these levels back, at least back up to here. Even if it fucking rejects it again, excuse my language. Even if we reject it again, right? We need to get up. We need to get up here. But by the time we get up here, say we could be, overbought. I don't know. But either way, that's the thing. We got to break through these levels. We got to get through these ceilings here. And right now, we're more dominant down. And this is the 1 hour trend. We're very dominant down. Rejection, rejection. And then we come up here into the 200 MA now. Rejection, rejection, rejection. Now we're coming here. And look, we're down below this level. So now we're fighting just to hang on to this area. Okay. So that's the white noise you got to be able to see through, not this little current green candle here. This current green candle will destroy you if you don't look at everything. Because you might be like, oh shit, we got some momentum now. Oh man, look at that little green candle. That's all you see is that damn green candle. Right? Exactly. So, and I'm not saying we're not going to turn, guys. That's not what I'm saying at all. All I'm saying is just pay attention to the details, because the details matter, right? So now we're in the 1 hour. So you see how I broke down the weekly, right? We opened up below the previous week. We're still appearing to be heading down. We haven't seen anything that's showing us there's a change. Same thing with the daily. We had that wick on Friday that indicated sellers coming in at support. And then yesterday we had another wick, and we even closed lower than we opened, which indicated sellers are here. Now we're on the 4 hour. We are still consolidating at that support level, but we're low here. We don't even have any confirmation. We don't have no patterns creating here that is even showing us that we want to make this turn right now. I don't see anything. If anything, I see more bearish patterns. Look at this M. This is high, and then you have this marker here, which is higher, lower. Now we're down here. And as we know, with these RSIs, you can go into oversold. And we're not completely oversold. We're still at 20. And I'm not saying that we're going to go below, but I mean, we will go into oversold if we take it back to the next level of support. So this is just your area that you need to be paying attention to. But based on what I'm seeing here, yeah, we know that 431 is an area that we need to pay attention to. But based on what I'm seeing here, I don't really see anything that's showing me that we're ready to turn. I don't. I mean, 30-minute is a little, you got some kind of bullish momentum on the 30-minute here. You're a little bit, we just got above here. We got this here, this low, and then this higher, but the 30-minute is
might be a fake out.
Yeah, it's white noise. It's not enough for me. Now, how many bearish signs did I see, and how many bullish signs did I see? And where am I seeing the bullish signs on the 30-minute chart? I don't even review the 30-minute chart most of the time. You guys know I go from the hour is the lowest I go for real, unless I'm trying to see where we are, in the current price right now. So it's not very dominant, right? So that's the only thing I'm saying. So when I'm looking at it, I'm looking at it from all different angles. Okay, all different angles, and that's what I see. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look at SQQQ, because SQQQ is inverse. So now what is SQQQ? I want to see if there's some strength in SQQQ, because if there's strength in SQQQ, it's going to confirm my analysis with SPY. And right now I don't see a lot of volume with SPY, just like I didn't see a lot of volume with SPY yesterday. You know what I mean? And I don't see it today. But we know how the markets get. A lot of those overnight orders could freaking just make the market go crazy as soon as it opens, right? But as of right now, what we see in this moment, I don't see no volume. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go to SQQQ. Let's take a look at what we got here. All right, so this is the support and the resistance that we've been creating here with SQQQ. And the thing is, we're still holding above it. We haven't fell through this support yet. This is the resistance here, which is 21.6. See, I mean, and overall, you can see the big picture. We're still below the 200 MA when you're looking at the big picture. So the big picture, we're still, very, dominant. We're very bearish. Just like with SPY, the dominant trend is bullish. Right, but we're just talking about current day-to-day movement at this point. All right, so you see that was a pretty nice candle here. And remember, I told you guys that generally dojis at support or resistance is what's significant. So what did we create here on SQQQ, which was a doji? So this doji was created, and then the next day we opened up higher. We know when a doji is created, if it opens up lower, it's generally a continuation of trend. If it opens up higher, it's normally a reversal, right? So we created this doji here on Friday, and then now we opened up here, which was a little higher yesterday, and then we closed higher, right? So we're back over here, I think, because this was 21. Yeah, we're back here, but we're still above the support level, okay, on SQQQ. So that's the daily. 4 hours still above the support here, and you can see here we were rejecting it for a long time. See, look at this. This is for, well, not for a long time. We're only on the 4 hour chart, but at least for the last week. So rejection, 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 rejection. Now look at the difference between this candle, which was the close yesterday, and all of the rest of the candles. Even though you've seen this wick come up, where did it close at? It closed below, because the open and the closing is what is important. Where it closes and where it opens is what's important. Just like in the monthly on SPY, we opened up above 418 in the month of June. That's what made it significant. Not that it pushed past 418, but that it opened up above that level for June's candle, right? Same thing here. We closed above the support level, which was 20.4. The fact that we closed above the support, we've been holding it. When a level breaks above, remember I told you guys, when a level breaks above resistance and becomes the new floor, it's hard for it to fall through the floor, right? It doesn't just fall back through. Generally, it's going to be a lot of push and pull before a decision is made, whether it does fall back or if it continues up. But you are going to get some tug of war or some consolidation, whatever you want to call it, right? So we opened up above this level here. We opened up above, and then the next candle we stayed above it, and we haven't fell below it yet, right? And now, mind you, this is not saying that SQQQ is in an uptrend. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm looking at current movement right now, today's movement. And that's what I see here, that we're holding above this level here, okay? Now, are they weak? Yes. Is it possible that they can fall through? Absolutely, because overall, it's a weak trend, because SQQQ is dominantly in a bearish trend. Just like I told you with Intel, right? Even though we had some momentum with them, overall they're bearish. So at any moment, the bears can come in and dominate, because that's what the overall trend is. It's bearish, right? That's like, think about a company, right? You got the CEO, right, of the company, and there's decisions that are made within the company, and the supervisors and the leaders, they're running whatever the CEO says needs to happen, but the CEO can come in at any moment and say nope and turn stuff around. Right. It's the same thing, you know what I mean? So you have to be prepared for that. So if you're in a dominant bearish trend and you still got some bullish momentum, that bullish momentum on the lower time frames can be very short-lived. Very, very short-lived. But if it's strong, and then you have bullish momentum on if it's in a strong bullish trend, and then you got bullish momentum on the smaller time frames, the likelihood of it running is high. You have the higher probability of it going. Okay. Yeah. And that's the difference. All right. So let's look at the 1 hour here. Yeah. And look at this. Can anybody see something also that's standing out? Then we're talking about SQQQ right now. Remember, SQQQ moves inverse of SPY. So we just talked about SPY, and we talked about the bearish momentum. And what do we see in SQQQ? We are above the 200 MA. Yeah. We are above the 200 MA. And look at this. This was a break. Look at this wall here. This was resistance. This was a feeling. Even though we pushed, what do? We came up, but we still closed below. The closing is what's important, not where the wick goes, where the closing is. The wick can tell you, that buyers are here. We're coming. Buyers are coming, right? But sellers are still in control because they close below this level. Here, below the level, they stay below the level, below the level, finally above the level. But what do they push above once they break this level? 200 MA. The 200 MA. And I use the 200 MA on all my charts. I use the 200 MA in 100 different ways. I don't have 5 different or 6 different moving averages and they consolidate and how they twist and turn if it's above. I don't use it that way, and I know a lot of people do. And for you guys that use it that way, awesome. You know what I mean? Because you can use it however you want to use it. But for me, I have a very simple mind. Like the way my mind is, it's very simple. But I could take the simplicity and like use the few things that I have in 100 different ways that helps me see things. So that's why I only use the 200 MA, but I use it as support. I use it as resistance. I use it to see if this trend is strong, if it's weak, like how many times have it busted through it, have it got through it. So that also tells me a lot depending on where this 200 MA is. So we're sitting above the 200 MA now. We're sitting above the 200 MA. Yes, we have money flow and we know that indicators lag, but I still use it as like an assistant, right? As like my assistant, okay? But it's definitely not something that I would like only use or I would use as priority. I don't use indicators for entry. I don't use indicators to tell me where the trend is. I use straight price action, but I use my indicators to help assist me in showing me that what I see in price matches. Okay, so here now we're in the lower time frames, right? We see all these signs, these bullish signs, these potential bullish signs here in the lower time frames here. But we do know in our minds that overall this is a bearish trend. So we're not going to get confused and say, oh my God, SQQQ is so bull. No, we're not going to confuse ourselves. That's the psychology. We know the SQQQ overall is in a bearish trend. They're very low. But for today, they broke above this level that for the last week, 2 weeks, or how many ever weeks, they kept rejecting it. They finally broke above it. That means something. That does. When a level is trying to break and they keep rejecting it, and then they break it, it's showing you something. So that's why I said the fact that we're above this 200 MA, the fact that we broke above this level, this is confirming what I see in SPY. Same thing with the 30-minute. Like you can even see in a 30-minute, you have low, higher, low. Now, all of the smaller time frames is showing me some strength in SQQQ right now. This is the 1 hour, the 4 hour, the 30-minute, the daily. I'm seeing all kinds of bullish signs. And again, not like completely strong, like it's a breakout strong and it just wants to run, but enough signs to say maybe SPY does want to pull back to 426 or 429, whatever the next level is. Because now we're only looking at $3 to $4 moves. We're not really looking at big, $20, $40 moves. No, these are just very small moves in terms of what could potentially happen for today. Okay. Now let's take a look at, does that make sense, everybody?
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfectly.
All right. So let's look at Apple. We got to go to Apple and see what happened with Apple yesterday.
Yeah.
This is more of a consolidation with Apple right now. All right, Lundell, see you later.
Bye, Lundell.
All right, so this is support at 183.9, and then we got resistance here at 185 for today. And you can see this is kind of where we've been consolidating. Look at this. This is support 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These last 2 days we were above it. We broke out this on this day. I think that was Thursday because this was Friday, Monday. But you can see the consolidation between these zones. We're coming back into these zones here because look at this. This candle here is indicating that it could, potentially be trying to come back down, to this zone here. So let's go 4 hour. Yeah, we're a little bit above it though. It's kind of like W. 1 hour. Let's go 1 hour. We're still slightly above it, but we've been high with them. So even if, look at this, the 1 hour, it's at the 200 MA.
Hmm.
And so even if it comes and pulls back, it's at 200 MA. If we pull back here on Apple, that kind of like confirms that SPY wants to keep pulling back too. I mean, I know Apple runs a little harder and they kind of go a little stronger. So it's kind of hard to see both of them because Apple is like, it's
Yeah.
a human being. But we're still here. It was a downtrend, consolidation. This pull here, this is a significant support, but this area we need to watch. We need to watch this area. And because we've been running so much on the daily, I wouldn't be surprised if we came down here. I mean, even if we came down here, it's still touching nothing. Apple's so strong right now, it's touching nothing. Like, in order for Apple to have really a healthy pullback, I want to see them come all the way back down. Like, you know what I mean, over here. Like, I want to see Apple come here, because if Apple can have a nice little healthy pullback, it's going to give us a lot more, you know what I mean, momentum to even go higher.
Yeah, to go higher.
Yeah. But yeah, I can't believe it's been over an hour already. I think we had.
Oh, you kidding?
Yeah, we've had a lot of discussions about, everything else. But the conclusion, I think that, we just need to be careful and watch on SPY. If this area here wants to hold, because I do feel like there is some tug of war here. But in my opinion, it's more weaker than it is stronger. More weaker than it is stronger. Just based on what I've seen on the weekly, how the daily looks, and also looking at the lower time frames, I don't really see any real patterns that just want to, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
That says we want to drive, right? At this point, I think we're still taking the back seat until we're ready to go again.
Yes, it's like basically what I'm getting is that even if there might be some up movement, but we definitely gonna have some downward movement to look according to what I
and just watch your zones. We did mark our zones here.
Yes.
And you could say 432, 431-ish, around that area is your
definitely.
It's your support.
That would be the entry for puts, more or less.
Oh, exactly. Yep. Unless it turns, just make sure that you stay aware, because if it pushes past those levels, you need to make sure you have a stop. But with the weakness that I'm showing here in the markets, it's for me, it's leaning more towards we want to.
I see it. Yeah.
You see it though?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yes. I would be like, I don't doubt that it might try to push back up like yesterday, but it's not gonna hold. I definitely think some downward pressure is gonna come today.
And remember, and with SPY, because I traded SPY for a long time. With SPY, you have to have faith in your initial analysis.
Yes.
Because it can really mess your mind up when you're in the trade. But if you have faith in your initial analysis with them, it does help. And just make sure that you have your stop levels.
Yes.
You know that if it gets here, it's a no-no, because you can always re-enter.
Exactly.
Okay. Because it doesn't necessarily mean that the trade is bad. It just means you're not going to take the risk. But then it'll show you if it's not gonna be ready, it'll come back down to that level, so you can always re-enter. And that's
exactly. And sometimes cheaper too.
Yeah, because if you get it lower, obviously, it's cheaper. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I'm not gonna hold you guys. Thank you for joining this morning. Do you have any questions, Joel? No. All right, guys.
Thank you so much, Desiree.
You're welcome. I'll see you all tomorrow.
Okay. Have a great
day.
day. Bye-bye.